How often do you give your Amazon Seller Central account a checkup? An Amazon account audit could be a game changer for you if you aren't already regularly checking your account to make sure everything is set up for success. By doing this, or by really not doing this, you could be missing out on sales and then putting even your account at risk for issues with listings or even potentially the account itself. So in this video, I want to share with you basically how to do an audit, and that way you can know how to regularly do it to then give you the advantages of that. And some advantages of regularly doing an audit is it's going to allow you to make sure that you are staying compliant with Amazon's policies. And this is a reason also that you shouldn't just be doing it once, but it should be done because Amazon's policies are ever changing. So at least once or twice a year, you should be doing a checkup on your account because even this year alone, they have made several changes that have had new requirements. And if you're not paying attention, you could be missing out. Now, also, you want to be optimizing your listings and ads for better sales. And that's another reason that you should be completing an audit on your account. And also, you can look at potentially cost saving opportunities to really then maximize your profitability. And that is really helpful when you're at the stage of really scaling your sales. And I'll get to that more later on how to do that. So I'm going to give you kind of a step-by-step guide that'll help you identify potential bottlenecks and then help you to scale your brand effectively on Amazon. So let's just jump right in. So let me share with you a little bit more of why Amazon account audits are essential. Think of it like a health checkup for your account. It makes sure that you have compliance, that you're optimizing your performance, that you're uncovering, like I said, opportunities to scale that you wouldn't be aware of if you're not regularly doing these audits on your account. Now, without the regular audits, you also could be losing valuable sales, or even worse, you could face something like an account suspension. That's kind of like worst case scenario. So the question that you might ask, and I kind of answered it a little bit, but how often? At least once a year. More ideally, though, you'd be doing at least 2 to 4 times a year. So think of twice a year or even every quarter, because then you can catch anything proactively that could be appearing on your account. So let's kind of start with step one. Let's look at the policy compliance audit as the first step. So that's where you're going to look at your account health page. So you're going to check for issues like your IP or intellectual property violations, product safety violations. Anytime you see a number of 1 that's not 0 or higher than 1, you don't want to see anything but 0. So if you spot any, you want to act immediately on those. And staying compliant is going to be key to protecting obviously your account and also making sure your operations continue to run smoothly on Amazon. Now, to get to this page, you're going to go to the Performance tab and then choose from there Account Health. And this page is really where you can just spot check it. And to be honest, we actually check this daily for our clients because if there is an issue, we have found that it is best to handle it very quickly before a listing gets deactivated or your account could have an issue. So I would also recommend, checking your performance notifications as well. That's in a different section under performance notifications. So you could get those also sent to your main email. But the problem with that is if your main email doesn't regularly get reviewed, an email could be missed. Or if you're signed up, honestly, to too many of Amazon's emails because they have a lot of different email notices and you just don't want that to get lost. So that's an easy place to make sure that you're not missing anything that's urgent. Now, there have been actually multiple occasions in the last year where we have seen a notification come through and Amazon then actually gives us 48 hours for us to fix the issue or the listing will be made inactive is what they tell you. So you may have seen something like this come through on your account as well. Now, through taking a proactive approach, that's actually saved hundreds or even thousands of dollars in potential lost sales days for our clients. That could help you as well. And this is especially important if you are generating a substantial amount of Amazon sales every month and every day. So step 2, performance metrics audit. So this is where you're going to look at your KPIs, such as your conversion rates, your ad spend efficiency, your return on ad sale. So you want to look and compare them with previous audits to really track your trends and measure progress. And consistency is essential when you're making informed decisions and also when you're looking at driving more growth for sales on Amazon. So the conversion rates, you'll want to download your business reports by child ASIN and review it here and then compare it to the same time, for instance, last year, especially if it's a seasonal time in your business or to the last month or your last quarter, depending on how frequently you're auditing your listing performance. Ad spend efficiency, you're going to want to look more at that for your last 30 days view of your ROAS. We like to take a little bit of a bigger picture because if you look too closely, it could scare you. But you want to really look at your things also like your A costs, your advertising cost of sale. But the important thing here is to know what is that break even return on ad spend for your brand based on the products that you're running ads on. And you'll also want to keep in mind that your current ad goals, for instance, if it's profitability or if you're currently in a growth phase that you're wanting maybe to promote new products in your product line, then maybe you're okay with even losing money for a time or breaking even. And here's a little pro tip. If you really want to see how your overall marketing efforts are doing, a metric that your CMO or, the business owner, if you're, watching this, you'll want to review is that return on ad spend on your branded, meaning your own brand name in your ads. So for brands that are really doing their marketing well overall, not just on Amazon, but everywhere, that return on ad spend, it should be one of the highest. Remember, for return on ad spend, higher numbers, the better. So that should be one of the highest in your campaigns, because if you are marketing, like I said, your brand well on and off of Amazon, you should be well above your break even ROAS. If not, that is an area of concern of something that's happening with your marketing and your brand that you would want to dig into deeper. Step 3, we're going to talk now about product listing optimization. And I have touched on this on a lot of different videos, but your product listings, they are really going to be the face of your brand when people are shopping on Amazon. It's the first thing that people are typically going to see when they click into a listing, as they will usually go into a listing before necessarily going to your brand stores page. So you want to make sure that they're retail ready. So they should have those compelling images, the clear benefit focused bullets. They should have engaging A+ content and low conversions. Despite if you have maybe high click-through rates, if that's something that's happening, then that's a sign that you need to look at tweaking your details. That's where running experiments can really help you to see what element of your listing needs to be improved on. And make sure to check out the video here to learn how to run experiments. Now, Amazon experiments, those are something that are great for your listings. And you can also look at checking your manage all inventory page, where you could look at any listings that are maybe inactive or suppressed that need to be fixed. So those are kind of the areas that you would want to focus in on. Amazon experiments for really conversion rate optimization, and then just make sure nothing is suppressed or inactive. Obviously, that would be an issue that would need to get fixed and addressed. Step 4, let's talk about your SEO strategy review. So strong SEO for Amazon, that's going to drive organic visibility. So you're going to really make sure that you're incorporating those high performing and relevant keywords that your competitors are using and into your listings, as long as it's relevant and it's something that is attainable. So make sure that you ensure you're properly indexing, because that's going to then boost traffic and increase obviously your sales potential. The more traffic you get to your listings, the better the chance. Now, a pro tip here is to use a software like Helium 10 to track your keyword ranking. I do have a discount code in the description box below if you don't already use it and you want to try Helium 10 out. But the key here is to make sure that you are tracking relevant keywords. And we personally prefer, more niche keywords if you are just starting to track, because even if your product is a shampoo, that is such a big competitive keyword, and you are competing against major and mega brands with a very large budget. Typically, if you're watching this video, you're probably more of a small business who doesn't have that aggressive ad budget to do every month, or even just the overall marketing strategy to really get positioning for something like that. That's why we like more of those niche keywords. Think of like the more descriptive keywords, and I've talked about that before in other videos. But next, I want you to think about your advertising campaign audit for step 5. And this is where you're going to really assess your ad campaigns for the performance. So you're looking at high performing keywords, so ones that are actually generating a lot of sales for you on ads. Also look at reducing wasted ad spend. So those that are, keywords that are costing you a lot of money potentially, but they're not getting any sales. They're leading to 0 sales when you're looking into your ad campaigns. This is when you should regularly be going into your ad campaigns and then pause what we would call bleeding keywords. That's basically costing you a lot of money, but it's not getting you results. Unless your ad budget is unlimited, and like I said, for most small businesses, this isn't the case, then you're going to need to monitor that at least weekly. So then you're going to look at really the transition auto campaigns to manual. So if you have auto campaigns running, you're going to want to move those into manual, typically for more precise targeting, only adding in the keywords that were successful in your auto campaigns. So use metrics that you're seeing like impressions, like click-through rates, and like return on ad spend that I mentioned earlier, and that'll help you to refine and scale those ad campaigns effectively. Now, always go back to, once again, though, what is your goal for ads? Because I'm telling you things that you need to apply to your brand specifically. Because if your goal is brand awareness, then you could care more actually about impressions rather than your return on ad spend. Now, step 6 is your inventory management audit. So inventory management, that's going to help keep your sales on track. And regularly reviewing your data to avoid things like stockouts, running out of stock, or even overstocking, keeping too much at Amazon. You're going to want to monitor things like your inventory performance index, which is your IPI. Aim for a score above the 400 to avoid any kind of storage restrictions. And also make sure that you're addressing any slow moving inventory. You can look at doing discounts or promotions. You could use Amazon's restock inventory tool as a general guide. However, just be careful of that, as we found that their tool to be somewhat a little bit lacking, especially when it comes to anticipating demand based on your ad goals, because that can't tell what you're trying to achieve. So just keep that in mind. Step 7, the customer service audit. So this is where you're going to look to see, how is your customer service doing with building that trust and loyalty? Yes, they're buying on Amazon, which is a platform that they trust, but how is their experience with your brand and your product specifically? So you're going to want to evaluate things like your response times, and also make sure that any kind of customer questions are addressed properly. Make sure you're monitoring your feedback trends to maybe resolve any recurring issues, and then maintain, really professional, helpful communication. And to do this, you're going to go into the performance, then you're going to choose feedback manager. And currently that section has some new customer service insights as the time that I'm recording, you can see. So you can see at a glance how you're doing with your contact rate, your average response time, your buyer dissatisfaction, in addition to your feedback just in general as a seller, which is different than your product reviews. Now, this is a quick and easy way to ensure that there are no issues, but you need to address. For instance, for one client, we are regularly checking the voice of the customer throughout the week. And through this, and in the details section specifically, we found out that customers were receiving another product instead of the one on the listing. And we had to dig into that deeper. And we found out that Amazon had actually been mislabeling some of the correct labels with incorrect labels over them. So that was causing customers to actually get the wrong product. So we worked quickly on fixing that issue. And then we made sure that those negative return reasons were corrected. Obviously, you can't do anything for the past sometimes with that, but you want to address it and be proactive too, is the whole point with that. Step 8, look at checking your financial health audit. So a financial audit, it's going to make sure that you're, being profitable on Amazon. So you're going to look at things like your referral fees, your FBA charges, other costs. Look at analyzing your product level margins as well to identify any, your most profitable items, and look at adjusting then the pricing, and even maybe strategy and adjusting your strategies accordingly for, sourcing it and then things manufacturing it. And I think that this is more important than ever, because in 2024, Amazon did introduce quite a few increases to fees that we hadn't seen in previous years. So each year you should be reviewing your financials, because you don't want Amazon to be a channel where you're losing money. But unfortunately, this is sometimes that I've heard from brands and they're experiencing, but there's actually a way to be profitable on Amazon. And that's what I want you to have in mind. And that's why you do need to know your numbers and check your numbers, and then tweak your plan accordingly, because you can be profitable on Amazon. So make your audits in general just a regular practice. Amazon audits, they don't have to be really overwhelming. Your monthly ad reviews, you could do, more of like twice a year on your account audits to make sure that your business is staying competitive and it's ready to scale. So you could be troubleshooting maybe low sales. You could be looking at optimizing your ad performance through those account audits. You could be preparing for growth. Also, something that I didn't mention earlier, but you should be paying attention to what is the market doing, because just because you did great last year within your niche doesn't mean that new players have not entered the market. Most likely that is the case. New players have probably, and products have probably come into the market. What is that doing? Is that shifting? Are you losing market share as a result of that? Because sometimes that is a slow thing that happens that all of a sudden can take you by surprise if you're not paying attention. And so following those steps, that's gonna really give you a roadmap to success for your products and what you're listing on Amazon. And make sure to check out this next video I did here, because I think you'll find it very helpful as you're continuing to think about growing your sales on Amazon.